Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow because we discuss socially relevant things mixed with a splash of humor. If you know you have tissue paper feelings, this probably isn't the channel for you. However, since you're here, I just need for you to do two things. Hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and turn on that little bell so that you get the notification every single time that I go live or upload something new. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Hey, girl, hey. Hey, knees. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, boy, hey. Elliott is on his way to the car. He in the house running his mouth talking to my mother. Because, you know, we getting everything ready for Sunday dinner for tomorrow. So we about to run to the stove. I do have a Patreon that I'm going to upload for y'all. Come on here, Albertina Walker. Oh, Shirley. What is that? We got a food stamp card. What's she sending that bank card for?
Child, for me to put in my pocket because I'm not using it.
Right. You know, you try to help these old
You don't argue
people
with the elderly.
You don't try to argue with the elderly. They don't say too much because she's going to see this.
You just take the card.
She'll be right there
and
looking.
Move on. So I'm not going to argue with Mother Gladys. Just take it and push it.
Right. Because she's going to be like so busy trying to give us instruction. So Elliott is here because we had to put together a bed for my mom. But we want to talk about this Janet Jackson documentary. Let's talk about this. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about this Janet Jackson documentary from last night.
For those who haven't watched.
For those of you that have not watched, you may not want to look at this right now because we are about to go into conversation.
It's called a spoiler alert.
Yes, it's called a spoiler alert because I definitely want to talk about it. I really enjoyed it. Okay. Now, you guys know when I watched the Mary J. Blige documentary. Did you watch that?
I didn't know she
You
had
didn't
one.
watch the Mary J. Blige? Where are we going first? To the grocery store? We're gonna go to.
We're gonna get this punani.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We gotta go to Tassili's. We starving.
I don't want my punani wet.
Is your punani wet? I don't know what's down in your pants. I don't know what's down in your pants.
David, I don't want this one wet.
But the Mary J. Blige documentary is on Amazon. And
Oh no wonder I didn't watch that. I got Prime, but I just don't go on there often.
Now, see, I didn't really enjoy the Mary J. Blige documentary, and we're not going to go into that right now because if you watch me consistently, then you already know how I felt about it. I didn't feel like it was well done, right? They used a lot of cartoons and shit.
Cartoons?
Because they didn't have a lot of footage. They didn't have a lot of footage, so like they used a lot of animation. And
That's not a documentary. That's
right.
Animation.
It was terrible. And so, long story short, but I enjoyed the Janet Jackson one because it was so well done, and it was well done for so many reasons. One, she talked about all of the things that we wanted to know. Mm-hmm. Is there a secret love child that Rebe Jackson raised? And speaking of Rebe looked good with a T.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to figure out now how she been making a living all of these years because all she had was that song Centipede. And that song wasn't even a real big hit.
That was a hit for that time. Centipede, you know.
Girl, it wasn't enough for her to be living off of to 2022.
Well, it was more of a hit than LaToya.
Yeah, true. But LaToya did get nestled up next to a few rich white men.
And where did that lead her?
Well,
next.
But the reason why I enjoyed the Janet Jackson was because it started from the inside out.
Correct.
And I mean that literally and figuratively, right? It started in the childhood house in Gary, Indiana. It started inside of that house. They started the documentary. She was driving through Gary, Indiana. She said she hadn't been there since she was 8 years old. Correct. Janet Jackson is what?
55.
55. So she hasn't been there for 47 years. She broke down when she saw that mural on the wall on that building of her brothers. And then they started in the house. That house was like, what did they say? It was like 600 square feet?
675 square feet, something like that.
The
2
entire
bedrooms.
And she didn't even remember that she and her sister slept in the living room on the couch.
Correct.
That's how small the house was.
The brother slept in a tri.
Yeah. 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 he said they used to pee from on the top bunk and he would be down on the bottom bunk. But it was just so interesting because it took you back to the house and she hadn't been there. And like Rashard and I, we watched it together in Leonard, and he was like, well, how did they get into the house? Like, does somebody live there? I said, it might be a landmark. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they did make it a museum or something.
Yeah, it's like,
a landmark.
And so they had, I'm sure they had. Why is this internet acting up? When they came outside of the house, it was a bunch of fans outside the house, and they were looking at Janet, and they were like taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. Like, that was really dope. It was something else about that house that I wanted to say. Catherine said how they really wanted to, she wanted to expand on the house, but Joe Jackson wanted to buy band equipment, musical equipment, so instruments, so that they could practice in the band and all that kind of stuff. So she was frustrated. And how the neighbors used to say, I don't know why y'all making all that noise over there. Y'all ain't gonna ever become nothing. Isn't that interesting how people will try to tear you down when they see your gift on you?
Correct.
They see, because listen, I don't care what circumstance you in, your talent precedes you. And your gift, people can see your gift on you, right? Even when you're in a bad position financially or whatever, people can still see the calling on your life.
But in that same statement, you have to believe in your own gift. Because
yes,
if
indeed.
you don't, that gift ain't going to expand. It's not going to grow.
Exactly. And so, but it reminded me of the King Richard story. Did you see the one about?
I haven't watched that yet.
That was really good. It reminded me of the lady that lived across the street from them that kept telling them that he was abusing them. He had them practicing too much. But this was a passion that the girls had. Okay. And so she called Department of Family Children and Services on them. Because he had them rehearsing, not rehearsing, but practicing, like in the rain. It might be, whatever. So anyway, so then they left the house. And then they talked about when she was like 7 years old and they took us to Vegas. Like, it moved in chronological order, right?
It put the story and put it together so you can understand
a timeline,
how they went from this to this. The part that got me the most though was when she said when they moved to Encino, is it what it was?
Encino,
California, and they were one of the first black families, and the folks were so racist toward them. And this, guys who don't know, this was the late 70s. This was not 65. This was not 55. This was the 70s. And they still treated people. And when
they had petitions.
Correct.
To try to get them out of the neighborhood.
And when she said, oh, your neighbor was touching her hair, she said, even in the part that took me back when she said she was in school, and the teachers also treated her differently because she was of a different skin color. Let
me tell you about white folks.
What?
White folks. See, they make you think you're part of their family, so they ain't got to pay you for your time. That's a line. That's a line from Karina. That was Jennifer Lewis. But no, in all seriousness, that really struck me. And I'm going to tell you why it struck me. Because I said to Carlton and I was saying to Leonard and Rashard, it's interesting how they came up in that time where white folks were petitioning to get them out of the neighborhood.
Right.
They were calling them niggers when they were walking them down the street. They were treating them, in a kind of way. But how Michael Jackson, in my opinion, gravitated towards white people when he became of age. But he slenderized his nose.
Let's step back a second. People fail to forget, no matter how successful, how much money you got, how many billboards you got, how many albums you got, you are still black
to them.
And they still treated them as such. When these were world-known artists, and they still did a petition to get them out and treated them differently just because they were black, but you're bopping to their music.
Yes.
But I don't want you in my neighborhood. That's the problem I have with white and black and other ethnicities. I've got black friends. Bitch, don't tell me you got black friends. Just like me saying, I've got white friends. A friend is a friend. I don't care what color they are.
Absolutely. And then here's the thing. But it seems like whenever black folks are treated a certain way by white folks, not all, but when some become successful, it's almost like they have this insatiable desire to be welcomed and liked by white folks. Yeah. And I kind of feel like that was what Michael Jackson had until he did that. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. It was almost like he started putting songs out like that because that's when they started to harangue his ass about all of that child stuff.
Molestation.
Yeah. The white folks was coming after his ass. So, I mean, it was just interesting. But then, again, going back in sequence with the story, I loved how they talked about how when Janet was 7 years old and she was in Vegas, working in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Then they took us to Good Times. They brought Norman Lear in there to talk about how he auditioned her. Like, it was like all encompassing. They pulled out all of the stops. They pulled in Paula Abdul. Well, I'm getting to that. But then they talked about how she auditioned for Fame. They brought in Debbie Allen.
I did not know that she didn't want to do Fame.
I didn't know that either.
Her father forced her to do Fame.
She was like, I didn't want to do Fame. He about to get over, and I'm trying to get over.
I'm trying to watch my wig over here.
Right, I see. I see you got your Dora the Explorer wig on. You got this Dora. You got that Dora the Explorer snatched on tight.
As long as it's not a peacock.
I know that's right. But she didn't want to do Fame. And that was around the same time that everybody started these rumors about her being pregnant. And Debbie Allen's like, pregnant where?
Where's the baby?
Where's the baby? There was no baby.
She was on set every day.
Yeah, she was on set every day. We saw this lady every single day. She was not pregnant. And Janet was like, no, I gained weight because I was on birth control.
Correct. That is very true.
This is why it was so good, because I learned so much. I don't like documentaries or stories or interviews, for that matter, about an artist and you don't learn anything new.
Well, she said that in the beginning. Why did she decide to do this documentary? She said because it needed to be told, because when you have people who are doing unauthorized documentaries,
yes,
you're not getting to speak for yourself in so many words. They're telling their side of the story. You don't tell the truth. You didn't get to get your side. You don't know what's truth and what's the problem. That was what's wrong with Whitney Houston's unauthorized autobiography.
Right. I forgot all about Different Strokes. They didn't mention Different Strokes. They didn't mention Different Strokes. I forgot about that. And the other thing that they didn't, I was trying to stay on the good stuff first, but the other thing that they didn't mention was her relationship with Bobby Brown.
No, I wouldn't mention it.
But I wouldn't have either. But she did subtly say, I was always attracted to men who want on drugs. So she only mentioned the DeBarge boy.
Well, she made reference.
Right. But she made reference. She made reference, right. So she only mentioned the DeBarge boy, but Bobby Brown was the other boy that was on drugs.
But I would have never known she dated Bobby Brown if I hadn't seen his documentary
exactly.
or his movie on Lifetime where he showed the piece where he was dating Bobby Brown. But that explains too when a few months ago when they did the documentary on Whitney Houston, when she was at a concert and her mother was in the background and she talked about Janet Jackson, there was some animosity.
Oh yeah, there was.
I was just like, why?
Yeah, they were talking about how she couldn't sing. Yes. They couldn't sing.
But how she number one?
Exactly.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly. So wait, somebody said they did talk about Different Strokes. Wait, where did they talk about Different Strokes?
I need to watch it again.
I need to watch it again because I watched it twice last night. In fact, I was sitting there when the third came on. But yeah, she dated Bobby Brown. We learned that from the Bobby Brown show, documentary, or whatever it was, a biopic
movie,
right?
Lifetime movie.
And there was a scene where he put her out in the hallway. They broke up. He threw her out in the hallway in the hotel, and she was out there naked.
And then the scene when he showed up at her house with a car,
he bought her
married. To the DeBarge.
Yeah. So yes, he had bought her a car, but she had already moved on and was dating the DeBarge guy, like you said. But yeah, so but then they moved from Fame, and she started working on that first album, that Control album.
Dream Street. No.
Oh, yeah.
She did that Dream Street. Correct. She was still living in her father's path.
Exactly.
Because she said, I didn't want an album cover. That was all.
She didn't choose that album cover. Right.
She said, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't want the album cover that he chose. It was just like she was just going through the motions.
Exactly. She didn't choose any of the songs. And so then
didn't go no damn well.
Exactly. And so then she did the Control album, and they talked about how she met Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. She was at a concert. Like, it was so, it really put the pieces together so you could see how it all came together.
Correct.
And even how they showed her performing or recording Rhythm Nation. Now, did you catch this in the studio? That was not the key that she recorded that song in. It was like she was still putting the song together. Remember they showed it?
And it was writing it.
She was still writing it. And that wasn't even quite the melody of the song. No. And it definitely wasn't the key, because when she recorded, it was in a higher key and it was a slightly different melody. The music was
a little different too, because she started out with a little, it was more so she was talking.
Exactly.
And it became a melody and a song. And Missy Elliott said something that was instrumental in her little piece. It wasn't as though she was preaching to us.
Exactly.
And that does make a difference when you're being socially conscious.
Yes.
Are you preaching? Are you delivering a message?
It wasn't didactic.
Yeah. You want to explain what that word means? Didactic.
Like preaching, like when you're trying to teach and tell someone, when you're trying to deliver a message. It's not didactic, honey. Didactic. You know, we're going to put our little $5 words in here. Amen. We're going to put our See, here's Tassili's right here. It's this little house right here on the corner.
Oh, baby.
It's the little house.
Miss all in her ceiling.
Come across here, sir. It's cold outside. Oh, okay.
You want? Go on.
Okay. He got his little McDonald's bag crumpled up in his hand.
They coming out there like they coming out there with crack bags.
And you know these people ain't all plant eaters. You see some of these people.
Craig, that's somebody's house, baby.
You can look at some of these people and tell that they ain't plant eaters.
Well, maybe they going through.
But I'm just letting you know that's how good this food is. Amen.
Who are these people? The
Baby.
Tassili. Let her move her vehicle. You can park.
Right I'm gonna park right there. Tassili's, that's her name. It's a woman. It's a black woman.
Oh, okay.
So it's named after her, but it's called Tassili's Raw Reality.
And this was,
I don't know if it was somebody's house or not, but it definitely was a house. I don't know if she lived here at one point or what. She needs
that thing called renovation.
Baby, she needs renovation and expansion. First of all, she needs to buy this and make this a parking lot, and she needs to expand that so they can have more of a prep area. So that they
put it somewhere where it's more commercialized, because I would never know this is here if you hadn't brought me here. Because this is a house.
So where do we leave off in the documentary? So is he gonna come out of this parking space or what? Oh, here he comes. He's putting his brakes on now. Come on, niece. We got people behind us
and in front of us. We stopped off about the shows, and she's doing stuff because her father wanted her to do it with this whole Dream Street album,
right?
Which was in how she met Jimmy Jam and Terrence Lewis to do the Control.
Yes. So she and her mom went to the concert, saw them.
And he said, you see what he said at the end, you know, we would do the gyration, and he said we knew that her and her mother was in, and we did a little extra.
He said because we were ignorant. But it was so interesting also to see her in the studio.
Correct.
I've never seen her in the studio like this. You know what I'm saying? She was young, and I love to see how they challenged her in the studio, and she got frustrated and she left. But that's what a great producer does.
He pushed her.
That's what a great producer does. You push him because, and I said this to Rashard and Lenore last night. I said, because when you're vocal producing somebody, you want that passion. Yeah. You want all of that energy, but you also want enunciation, because there's so many times that I will listen to an Aretha Franklin song or an Anita Baker song, and you know I love Aretha, I love Anita, and I love Toni Braxton. But sometimes you don't know what the hell they're saying. And sometimes you need to, Tony, I wrote the song, I need to hear the words. Can you sing that again? And so that's what they want.
And that's part of our cultures for some of us. It's that lazy dialect that you
right.
You make certain sounds because that comes from the church too.
Where
you don't enunciate the words, over enunciate. You just say just enough of it. Oh, amen, and they catch it. I mean, folks who ain't catching it with that hearing aid in the back row be like, girl, what's she saying?
And see, I think this is one of the best things that Lifetime has done, because that Elliott story was terrible. The TLC one was kind of trash. I didn't like the Toni Braxton one. I didn't like the Whitney Houston one. This was kind of like the best thing that they've actually.
Well, the difference between that one and this one. The artist is doing it.
Absolutely.
She was a producer, so was her brother.
Absolutely.
She is the vocal piece and giving the material. Whereas with Whitney Houston, the one they just did, it was decent. It was better than those floppy movies, but it was people interviewing. And I didn't like the fact that when the man says, let's talk about Whitney Houston's drug problem to Bobby Brown, we're not going to talk about that. He said, well, that's what killed her. He said, well, that ain't what killed her. And I'm like, if you ain't going to tell the truth, get him that check back and go home, Bobby.
Exactly.
Don't say she was on drugs. She was a drug addict. And that's what killed her.
That's what killed her.
On top of other things.
And her denial. Now, we need to take a quick little intermission because we need to get out Punani. Did you want me to run in and get it, or did you?
No, babe, I'm going to go ahead and see what this facility looks like. I have to.
Well, come on, y'all. We just going to bring y'all in here for a second. Jesus. We got to turn. We got to
these folks these head wraps and stuff on.
Well, this is what it gives when you eating raw food and stuff, vegan and stuff. It gets very Erykah Badu and very natural and patchouli.
I ain't got my mask.
And patchouli. I got a mask in the trunk. Come on.
In the trunk.
In a box. They are loving your dark chocolate skin. Do you hear me?
Like I am on junk trade. In the trunk.
Get it out of the trunk of the car. We're going to come back to the documentary in a second. We got to get our punani. Because we are starving these.
Why are they in the trunk?
Here, just take one out of the box.
And they're not soft.
They are soft. Well, you're soft enough. Let me get my car key for somebody to pull off. I got the key in the car. All right. So we're going to run in Tassili's real quick. And we should just be able to go right to the front and get our little wrap. Since it was ordered online. But see, sometimes they wrote black. I'm about to go reach in the cabinet and get my own food. You're like, this don't make no sense. Like, it should always be somebody over here.
Yeah. She had to go run to check on mine.
Well, how long that take?
I don't know. I just enjoyed the music. Goodbye.
All right. We're out of here. It's like all you gotta do is reach for it in the refrigerator. Like, what? Why is it so hard? Oh, it's so hard supporting some black businesses. It's so hard supporting some black businesses. Is the door unlocked?
Well, a lot of them, they need training on customer service.
They need something.
And it's just not black business. A lot of these
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not just black business.
Organization and training on customer service is important because they don't get it. And I always tell people, no matter how much money you make, if you don't provide good customer service, you ain't gonna make it long.
And I always say, just because you own a business doesn't mean you know how to run a business. Come on, somebody. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm hungry now.
Well, I don't do punanis in the car. I have to have a decent place for sitting and snacking.
Well, you know we're not going straight back home right now.
I thought you got one for Carlton.
That's his half. You're going to get half of this one. Well, he can have half of this one. You can have...
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, this is the full size. That's a half.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So, you know we ain't going back home right now.
I can wait.
Oh, you must not be hungry.
I'm hungry, but I don't eat and travel.
You sitting in the passenger side.
What's your point? I don't want juice all over my clothes. Is that what I had last time?
Yes. Can you wrap that up for Carlton, please?
Very interesting and very cultured.
Oh, y'all can't even see it because of the sunlight. Let me pull up so y'all can see it. Because, baby, I'm about to devour.
Because, baby, this name sends me.
This punani.
Because if you come from my era, punani meant a whole different thing.
Well, it still does.
Oh, Jesus.
Do y'all see all of those lush colors? Look at that. That's vegan, niece. Yes. That's called the punani.
It gives you. It's very interesting.
Yes, indeed. Father God, we thank you for the food we're about to receive. Let it be for the nourishment of our bodies. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
It's been so long since I've been to the West End. The sweat season is in. It's interesting at the cultures that walk up and down the street. We give the children a history lesson. We've been in the West End. It is very diverse now, though.
The Shrine of the Black Madonna is down here on the right.
The Shrine of the Black Madonna.
Oh,
I didn't know they still had that ace over here. Very interesting. Okay. Is that like a Muslim mosque or something? Oh, it's an Orthodox Christian church? And it's called the Sign of the Black Madonna?
The Shrine.
Oh, the Shrine. Okay.
There's a Dollar Tree. Every hood needs a Dollar Tree.
Baby, ever since I get, my Krispy Kreme is still over here.
There's the Goodwill. Here's another black-owned vegan place. This place is called Soul Vegetarian. They actually cook their food over here. This is not raw.
Oh, SVS.
Soul Vegetarian.
Is she open?
She open. I don't really like that food. I did grab something from there yesterday because I had to get my hair cut down over here.
They just do soul vegetarian food?
It's like soul food, but it's vegan.
Sometimes that can be a challenge.
It's vegan soul food.
Sweets at the West End.
Back to the documentary. What was also very interesting, what are we going to the Home Depot now?
Home Depot or Trader Joe's, it doesn't matter because you got to get this stuff for your mother. You get it from Aldi's or it doesn't.
Okay, let's go to Trader Joe's first.
Oh, that's the mangoes. Don't go. I didn't know there was one over here too. We went to the one on Auburn Street. Not interested. That one is not. That's not a dine-in though. That's more of a counter to get your food.
That used to be a gut buster, so cheesesteak place.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, documentary. Now, what were we saying? Oh, her and her relationships with the drug boys.
Mm-hmm. So,
ooh, that's so crass.
I love how she talked about how he left her in the hotel room.
Baby, that sent me when she said we're married by his uncle, some pastor. Where were they? Minnesota.
They went. Where were they?
Some hillbilly hick town, some state that's got snow.
Minnesota, wasn't Indianapolis.
Well, that's where they were from. But when she married him, she wouldn't. They went to some. I thought it was an M state.
Where did they say they were in the hotel, y'all? Somebody in here know. I know.
And she said he left her for 4 hours, and it's 4 hours later he still hadn't back. And I'm like, I didn't know.
He out there on the drug binge.
You know, he was on crack, on drugs like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just so
Grand
sad.
Rapids, Michigan.
Okay, I know it was a him.
Look at Stacey talking about Wisconsin. Niece. It was Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Somewhere where it's snow.
Mm-hmm. And he gonna leave her in the hotel room, but that was real.
And on your honeymoon, when did they honeymoon?
That was yes.
And it was just so sad when she said, I understood why she didn't want to be on Fame because she was dealing with personal issues in that marriage. Because anytime you sit there and you're not healthy in your marriage, you can't focus on your work, and then you didn't want to do it no way. Mm-hmm. And she said she would sit there and wait for hours for him to come and pick her up. And Debbie would say, "Baby, you okay? What? You a star and you sit here, but love will do that to you."
And here's the thing. She said she loved him more than she loved working at Fame.
Yep. That's where her focus was. That's why she didn't really want to be there.
And see, this is why I would say to my ladies and my women that are watching, stop foregoing your dreams for a man, for a relationship. Love will always be there. Yeah. If he's meant to be, if that man is for you, he gonna be there with you while you ride through your dream.
My thing is love thyself.
That's right.
Because when you done, like with, and I have to go back to Whitney Houston for that. When you start minimizing who you are to uplift somebody else, who is uplifting themselves and believing enough in themselves.
When you start shrinking yourself,
you're going to falter.
Yeah.
Some gonna cave in, and that's what happens.
Because men never give up their dreams for a relationship.
I'm not gonna say that, Greg.
They don't.
Some men do give up their dreams because you have some men who are in relationship with women that they will give any and everything to make that woman happy, that they will deny themselves for the purpose of.
But what I'm saying is they will try to bring that woman with them. Hey, babe, I got to move out here for this job. Women won't go. Women won't move cross country for a job if she got a new relationship with a man and he ain't talking about moving
somewhere.
That man gonna try to bring her with him. With, you know what I'm saying? A man, a lot of times will go out of town for college and he'll, come back home and see her and stuff. But women won't even go out of town for college.
Well, it's just a different dynamics.
It is.
What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make me open my pool now because they holding up. They're holding up traffic.
I'm glad. Tabitha Brown's husband did. He moved cross country with her.
Thank you.
But it's a rare occasion. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, generally speaking. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just saying we can't generalize because there's men who do it and there's women.
But men do it far fewer. Where is he going? Across the shoulder? Where is she going?
In a Kia Sorento.
You know what?
Not that the car makes a difference on where he's going because he's not going any further.
That was a black lady. She said, fuck this. I'm not standing in this line. She went on down the shoulder.
And go squeeze in front of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Unconscionable.
There's moments like that I wish I was a cop so I could turn the light on and be like, where are you going?
There's something that happened on 85 because there seems to be.
I'm almost done my banana.
Some stoppage. Well, I'm a professional. I'm used to holding things.
Child, they love you. I don't know why they like
love
you.
Supportive men. See, supportive men. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You gotta love thyself first.
Don't know what I'm saying.
You gotta show some appreciation for self. Because my mama used to say, baby, when you get that check, pay yourself first.
You got to.
Because you've worked those hours. She said, pay yourself, pay your tithe. If you're tithing to a church, or tithing to a community center, or tithing to something other than yourself.
I ain't tithing to their church.
Well, the church is not always a building.
Exactly.
The church is people, needy. It's doing what the Bible says they were supposed to bring all the goods into the storehouse to take care of the homeless, and they don't do it. The storehouse is the pastor's pocket.
That's why I ain't tithing to no church.
And all of them ain't like that, but the majority, I would say 98% of them are in that.
Oh, so you gonna sit here and generalize that, but I couldn't generalize men? You know what?
There's a selection of generalization.
Oh my God.
But go back to the documentary for those who need to watch it.
So back to the documentary. So she ended up leaving James DeBarge.
I don't think she really wanted to do. She was forced.
He was on them drugs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The drugs forced her to say, I got to start focusing on me because he ain't changing.
And listen, if you're in a relationship with somebody right now with a drug problem, and they've been doing this back and forth, let that go.
Yeah.
Let that go.
Because until they tied, it's not going to stop.
You can't win. You cannot win. So anyway, so then she started working on herself and,
and gaining independence to say the first step was, which was hard for her too, telling her father,
yes,
I
God.
want to go a different direction. She started working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And I understand that because she didn't want to be in this business. That girl wanted to go to school to be a lawyer.
She wanted to go to Pepperdine.
Did not know that.
Again, it was so full of so many things I did not know. Didn't she say she wanted to be an
attorney?
But
you think about that. You're a Jackson. That name sticks with you because you're the sister of Michael. And when she bring that in later on about friendship, she was, and as Jimmy Lewis said, Terry Lewis, Jimmy Jam, well, like he said, she's always going to be in the shadow of Michael Jackson.
Yes, indeed.
No matter what she does.
Yes, the whole DeBarge family was on drugs.
That was sad.
It was. What are they trying to ask me, y'all? What y'all trying to ask me? You know I can't be driving and eating and trying to read these comments.
I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at that. It's just too much function going on. You got to focus on that road. You trying to road rage,
right? And they
plus do all this. What is this again? Live Patreon. I don't know what we on today.
This is live.
Okay. And drive and focus on the children cutting off crossing the lanes.
We were on Patreon earlier. I'm going to upload the Patreon for y'all when we were putting together that bed.
I can't keep up.
Elliott is single. Yes, that's what they're trying to ask me. Yes, he is single.
Asking them questions.
Listen, we have a GED section. We have a section for baby nurses. And we have a single and desperate section. We're all the single and desperate. Please put your hand up, please. Single and desperate.
As I told this woman when I was on a conference, I'm married with 6 children, a crippled horse.
Not a crippled horse.
That needs special attention.
You're so stupid. Yeah. Ellie and I were putting the bed together, but I'm going to upload the Patreon when I get back to the house. I haven't put it up yet. But anyway, so what the hell was that?
Is that or is that the ambulance? Child, is that the rescue people? The hero people? See, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. Baby, you are in the throes of traffic down here begging on the thoroughway.
Well, I think he probably really needs it because it's cold as Christmas today.
But he's on the thoroughway.
I see where he's standing. My point is he must really need it because he's on the thoroughway and it's cold as Christmas out here.
Or the intersection of the thoroughways. I don't know what this is.
Baby.
That's a bit much. That is a bit much.
So Janet put her album out, and she said the shift between her and Michael Jackson came when Thriller came out, when he put.
But I understood that.
I think he insulated himself. He isolated himself from his family, from people, and I think that's why he was lonely.
And people don't realize, if you think about Thriller, the song itself was a transformation for him, period, because that song is deep, and you got to think about it tapped into some areas Michael Jackson hadn't been before. Because that album was just not a regular album.
Right.
So
look at this accident. My God, today.
Somebody was not paying attention.
At all.
And they weren't eating the punani.
And they weren't reading comments on the live.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I think that's what was happening. I think Michael got that fame, and part of him wanted to kind of be untouchable, even with his family.
I don't know if that was it. I think things had, because Michael Jackson was always known anyway.
But remember when she said he came into the bedroom because they would always get in the car
and talk about
and
listen to his songs.
And then this time he didn't. He went into her room. They didn't say anything, and he left back out. And she said that was when things just changed completely between them. And remember when Jimmy Jam said, "I never heard Janet say I need to catch Michael." Mm-hmm. But I think Michael was so competitive, even with himself, he probably separated himself from her because he didn't want her to catch him.
And they're really two different spheres to me.
They are.
She's her own person. I've always been a Janet Jackson fan, even with Dream Street, because I was just like, the attitude, the savviness, before she even did, and I didn't realize it was that long of a span between her putting out albums before she really did concerts. Because, baby, that's when I went over the moon, when I went to her first concert. Because she gave me my money, I owed her change. Mm-hmm. But before that, I didn't know it was that long before she actually did a concert.
Well, you know, with that first album, you were the only one that bought that album.
I didn't say I bought it.
Oh.
I said I liked it.
Oh, okay.
You know, that was the day you could go into the record store and listen to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, say,
oh, that was a long time ago.
And snap, really?
Oh, that was a long time ago.
It was called A Record Store for a Purpose.
The records, you said record store.
A record store, a 45, baby. Or an LP. You go in there and put it on the turntable and you can listen to it.
I want to get over. So, yeah, so when Rebe said she hadn't talked to Michael in a year, talked to him or seen him in a year, I'm like, how you just not
She said he was very busy.
Sure, he didn't want to be bothered with them.
Well, but even when he was, did you see the interview part when he was standing there behind Quincy Jones and Michael was kind of recoiling from the press?
What was he doing?
Recoiling. He was, retreating behind the Jones man. Because I think it was that fame hit him so quickly, so hard too. Because some people, he couldn't even walk or breathe without people bearing down on him. That becomes a lot because it hits you all at one time. And you don't know what these people's intentions are.
Because nobody's going to ever experience what it's like to sell. How many he sells? 70 million with Thriller or some shit? Nobody's going to ever experience that again.
That is kind of scary, though.
And I do think you become probably paranoid to a degree.
You have to. You got to think about self-preservation, and people are in your space. Even with her going to the car and stuff when she was in Europe, I'm like, why do you have to push people? You're not respecting these people's space. That's a little intimidating to me.
Right.
And you're still human because people can reach out and touch you, stab you, they can do whatever. Not that they're thinking that way, but you don't know the mindset of these fans because you don't know. Right. Because there was once a child called Jodie Foster, and the child was doing salacious things to get her attention. Queen of the Night wasn't just a movie. Now, what was it?
You talking Bodyguard?
There we go. The song was Queen of the Night.
No, I knew what you meant. Yeah, that was crazy. But I don't know. Overall, I just thought the Janet Jackson documentary was amazing. And they definitely cut Renee Elizondo a nice check for that footage. Because a lot of that episode last night, that second half, came from footage that he recorded.
Yeah, because I didn't know that he was such an influencer on that album, Rhythm Nation, with him doing the dance moves.
You know why I knew that? I knew that when they divorced. And Carlton made a good point last night too. We didn't even know that they were married until they were about to get divorced. It was like when that started to come out, and they never really said why they divorced. I don't know if that's gonna come out tonight.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But I know they had to call him and be like, "Hey, we need to buy some of that footage you got." But when they divorced and she had to cut him a check, that was one of the things that came out. That was why she had to pay him, because he had a lot of creative influence. Yeah. Not even just in the choreography and stuff, but even in the songs. But his name wasn't on the credits.
Well, whose fault was that?
That was his fault.
Thank you.
But you know, sometimes when you fucking somebody and yeah, because I'm gonna need mine.
Let's keep it. This is business, and that's bedroom. Married or not, you got to keep the business in the business. And that's where people slip up, and that's where things start to go awry. But if you married to somebody and you trust them, you keep that business in business, so there is no discrepancies down the road when y'all don't bedroom anymore. Because
when y'all don't do what?
Bedroom anymore. Because he may be bedrooming somebody else, and then that business starts to get in the middle, and it becomes a catastrophe.
So let me ask you something. You've been in your house since when?
This one, 2009.
So you've been in the house for 13 years. Let's say you meet a man. I ain't asked you yet. Fix your face. You meet a man. And he is everything that you've wanted. He's not selling you no wooden nickels. He's the real deal.
Okay.
And let's just say he's renting a condo or an apartment or something like that. But he's an upstanding person. He just never bought a house, right? Because he didn't know if he was going to plant roots here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But now y'all together, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm staying in Georgia." Da 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 da. And so then he moves into your house.
Right? You're moving too fast.
Y'all together now. Y'all in bliss now.
Bliss or no bliss. Until there is a thing called matrimony. That's my house. That's your spot. You may spend the night, but moving in.
I can't spend 2-3 nights in a row.
The night.
I can't spend 2-3 nights in a row.
Multiples go on the depending. However, if we're gonna go down to that shacking to the point, then we need a place together that both are in, because you know what? That 1605, that's mine.
Okay.
And when we get married, it's still gonna be mine because that's rental property now, because I own that. Because if that ever goes south, I won't be standing on the corner of West End and 20.
Now I need you to tell them that, tell the ladies in here that, because see, women, y'all meet y'all a man, not just women and some of you gay men. Y'all fall in bliss, and y'all in love, and then you forget who you are and you forget what you own.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden you adding him to your Mary J. Blige, you adding him to your payroll, Whitney Houston. Like you starting to shrink, because you're trying to pacify his insecurities.
Well, anybody. It's just the more so it's smart business.
I done went the wrong way playing with y'all.
So what we supposed to do?
I was supposed to go over that one because we're gonna run into the Home Depot first. I done went the wrong way. But all seriousness, it's okay to be in love and all of that, but still have your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Keep your stuff as your own, right?
And if your spouse to be cannot understand
that, then he wants something other than you.
Then there's a problem.
That's right. He wants something other than you, because he should not be coming in asking you to add him. Oh no, this is the right way. To add him to your house, to your deed. No, you're not doing that. He been in this house for all these years, and then I come add you, and then 3 months or 6 months later or a year later we break up, and then you want half of the house.
And all the stuff I've done in my damn house, you think you're gonna get half?
If you were fool enough to add him, you will.
Not today.
That's like with me and Carlton. Carlton been in his house for 5 years. If I didn't have a house, we wouldn't have moved into his house. But that was also because I don't want to move into somebody else's house, because I don't care how welcoming they make you feel.
It's still their house.
It's still their house.
Where when it's our house, that means both of us is in it together. Both of us have an investment in this piece of property. Both of us have our name on it. I didn't used to understand that before. Now I get it when people say, that's your house, baby. Either you need to sell it or you need to rent it out because we need to buy our own, because I want my name on the house. And I get that now.
And get this. And when you sell your house,
that's your money.
That money going in my account, not the joint.
Exactly. That's your money, because that's your property before you met me.
Because see, some of y'all like, oh no, I'm gonna go here, baby. I'm gonna put this in our joint account. No, baby, this was my money.
Now I got a spot on my glasses.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, so she and Renee ended up divorcing. So they showed you the house on Malibu, and I'm gonna tell you something. Because he came to her as a photographer, that's how they met. Because he was like photographing shit. I kind of, if I was her at the time, I would have felt some kind of way about him filming everything. I would have kind of been feeling like he's going to use this to try to profit off of me later.
Well, you got to think about how they grew up. She said she didn't have very much friends. Her friends were her brothers and sisters, because when you do that to your children, you're not preparing them for the future and for the people that may be predators and those who may not be, because you don't know how to discern between the difference because you haven't experienced that. So she was really going in gullible in a lot of these situations where she ended up getting hurt.
Right.
Because she didn't know.
But then also, did you catch on one of those videos, he proposed to her? You saw the proposal.
Yeah.
When they were sitting under like a tree, they were in like a little park or something like that. He was proposing to her, if you guys missed that part.
Yes, she said, because what's his name didn't propose.
What's his name didn't propose, didn't give her a ring.
No.
See how she lowered her standards? See how sometimes ladies and gay men, you lower your standards for these Negroes? She didn't even require him to give her a ring.
I think that was a relationship of comfort, a relationship of
escape,
familiarity, because
and escape from her family,
and because her brother liked LaToya, so it was more so, oh, y'all be cute. I think it's one of those things.
Because remember, she said the only way she knew she could kind of get some freedom is if she got married.
Yeah,
remember she said that.
Yeah,
and so anyway, he was recording her. I mean, I'm back to Renee. He's filming everything, but clearly he did have pure intention. He's like, no, this is just for us. He said, this is for us to look back on. He never released any of that footage. We've never seen any of that footage.
not until now.
Not until now. And they went to him for that. And then he go Carlson, well, you record everything we do. I see it, but you ain't famous. So it ain't like,
oh, Jesus.
I mean, I didn't say that to him, but it's not the same thing. Cause it's like, it's not like I'm filming him as an opportunity.
Well, but he came into the situation understanding.
And I was already doing that, right?
But I think everybody is in your circle now, because you do supposed to get our consent before you record. I do need an NDA. What you come in knowing?
I can't close my mouth and talk and eat, niece.
Charlie, all in your tea?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you may have some lettuce in there.
I'm almost done.
See, that's why I don't eat on camera, because I can't have none of these.
This is kale.
What they got to do with it being in your tea?
It ain't lettuce.
Same thing in the family. This is like somebody's a lesbian, but they ain't gay.
What a metaphor you just put together.
Well, that's true.
Oh my God. But I really do want to know how much they had to pay Renee for that footage.
Well, when she did the song Son of a Gun, I knew who she was talking about after the fact, because again, we didn't know she was married, but that said a lot about him. You think this song is about you, but she paid him. And you think about that. That's kind of bad when you've been with somebody for so long and then you just can't separate amicably. You got to get a little, but I think he should have been betrayed for his creativity. But that should have been
done up front. Yeah.
You don't come in after the fact. So, well, I helped you with this album. Okay. And I thank
now
you.
we divorced.
Yeah. But as long as we was married, you never brought up that you wanted credit for your assistance or your input.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm looking forward to tonight in the second part. I need to see this relationship with Jermaine Dupri.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna focus more on her rise and her fall with that Justin Timberlake. Ever since that, for those who may be JT fans, I'm not, because you didn't stand behind your friend. You threw her under the moving bus with spikes.
First of all, you weren't no Justin Timberlake fan even before that.
Nah, well.
Yeah, you said it like he lost you because of the whole Janet Jackson thing.
He never had me.
Right. I really do want to see her talk about the Jermaine Dupri thing. I really would like to see that.
Why? That's just
because I want to know what she was thinking.
What do you mean? You have to look at her selection in men. Jermaine Dupri offered her comfort. He offered her stability. And he was not a person who was in the limelight in a sense, even though he was a producer. He offered her some type of stability, I think, because he was.
And I want to know about this man, this man from Dubai.
Now, I don't know about that child. That one I don't know.
Now, if she really want to break up the internet in the TV show, she needs to show Issa, the baby.
Since he's 5 now.
He's 5 now. She need to show him She need to show him. I thought this white girl was about to cross the street. You see, she keep playing on the sidewalk.
Okay, right, girl, play until you. Okay,
right, and then I gonna ran her over, and then she'll be like, "Oh,
he'll just be a salmon patty without bread." I digress. Shit, you got to make up her mind.
You know what? I can't stand you. I can't. But I would like to see that.
I don't think she's even showed him this.
She hasn't. Oh no,
I've seen a picture of the baby.
I saw a baby when he was first born.
Yeah, but I can understand why they don't do that. Like Fantasia just put a picture of her daughter.
Ain't nobody checking for Fantasia.
Baby, I am. Her baby's the little girl is a gorgeous little girl. Because I understand these people. You don't want everybody in your children's face.
No, you don't. But ain't nobody chasing after Fantasia.
Oh my God, I'm just speaking in general. And Janet Jackson, child, there was a thing called a Lindbergh baby. Is that what the name of the baby?
Lindbergh.
We don't want another one of those.
No, I do get it. Why? Because that's the same reason I'm sure why Beyonce wasn't showing. You haven't really seen those twins until recently.
So they've
Now
gotten
that they're
older.
older, right? Because I don't need no.
And then it's just snippets, really.
Right.
And it's just enough. It was a Whole Foods. Okay, I have not been in this facility since.
Well, that's because you don't leave from 1605.
Baby, that's because I don't do the inner city. So.
You from Memphis, okay?
I do the inner city there. I grew up in suburbanite.
Oh my God. Let me see what. Oh, and I really do want them to talk in depth about this costume thing, because that white guy with the hair, silver and black hair is long. He was saying he was the costume designer till like 2004 or something like that. Something came out with him recently on social media where he was saying he's been working with her for years and he doesn't make mistakes like that. He said it was definitely planned. He said I would have been fired if there was a wardrobe malfunction.
Right.
He said I continue to work with her. So I'm trying to figure out, is she going to tell us that it was intentional
on somebody else's part to get ratings?
Well, whose part would it have been?
I don't know. First of all, there was rehearsals. Second of all, how did y'all not know this before this happened? And then the way that Janet Jackson looked she was surprised. She did not know her nipple was exposed to that degree until she looked down and she grabbed it. Because she stood there with confidence when he first, because it was plain. It was a rehearsed process. And I guess the wind ran across that nipple, honey, and she caught it.
Wait, what happened?
Ran across that nipple.
The wind.
Because I'm gonna know if my nipples exposed. That's why I think she should have had a pasty on anyway.
Yeah,
she
like
really
the drag girls do.
Yeah. Just for safety purposes. In the wardrobe. Child, does that say fuel low? Baby,
it does say fuel low.
But I don't do no walking.
My Uber account is in good standing, okay? If we run out of gas, we are in good standing.
Happen.
I know. All right, now listen, y'all, we got to get off of here, okay? We got to run into the stores. We will be uploading. I will be uploading a Patreon for you guys with this person. And we are doing Sunday dinner tomorrow again with this person. He has Gladys's grocery list in his pocket. So we will be getting all of those things
on my phone.
See you guys later. Bye.
Not in my pocket.